What is going on, everybody? I think we're live as usual. Let me know if the sound is off. I didn't do a check before this one, but let me know if there's any of that like crackling noise in the sound. We are on the clock in quite a few drafts. I believe there's around 10 or 11 drafts we're on the clock on right now. So we're going to rip through all of those. I can show you guys my teams. Most of them only have like one or two players, so it'll be very easy for us to, cycle through a bunch of those. But yeah, we're just going to look through all those, and they'll probably do a Best Ball Mania draft unless a bunch of people really want to do one with all of you. But I feel like if we kind of rotate through Best Ball Mania with you guys every other week, I think that's the best way of doing things. So again, we're just going to cycle through a few of these, fire away any questions, and we'll get things started. So first draft, Bijon at the 10 pick. Very obvious pick here. We're going to go with Garrett Wilson. Start off with a hero RB build. Take, Garrett Wilson, honestly, I've been seeing him go at pick like 10 and 11 recently. Like he just keeps climbing in ADP, so very nice value there. All right, next one. Also, are they open with this one still? No, it must have closed. Okay, so the Pomeranian is no longer open. I got basically into a ton of them today. It was a rake-free tournament for $3 entry fee. Always be following Underdog on Twitter. Because when they tweet those out, I mean, whenever they can do maybe I will do that. Do a weekly winner draft. I haven't done any of them yet. Maybe we'll do that. That's a good idea. Anyways, when they tweet those out, the rake free ones, you have to do them, right? Because normally they take 11%. You're just adding 11% right into the entry fee. Like it's just free, right? The EV, even if you're not like that good at it, is like effectively neutral. So you gotta do those. Pick 8. Ekler. I've been going Ekler over Bijon and over some of the wide receivers in that range. Next one up. Looks like we have a second rounder. We took Ekler at pick 9. So there's another one that's a little further out. Pick 16. Not a great spot to be in. So at this pick, Mahomes actually went at 15. Jeez, that's really early there. But it's like you'd kind of just miss on this range. Like Adams, Lamb, Bijon, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson. That's like a very clear top 14. And then you get into this next range of like JT, Olave, Chubb, Waddle, Saquon, of like 5 players who are all basically the same pick. And I have to pick it first, which is a little unfortunate. My lean has been, let's just go Ekler, JT. Honestly, I'll just cycle through a bunch of different combinations. Like next time we get to this, maybe I'll do Ekler and Olave. But grab those 2 running backs, and then we'll just hammer out all these other positions. Probably not go back to running back for a long time. Next one, also the second round, also Austin Ekler at pick 3 or pick 6 here. I should probably stop taking as much, but I guess these are only $3 ones. I'll diversify a little bit more in Best Ball Mania, but these ones are, not as much money. Pick 19. Well, we'll go Olave. We said that we would we'd cycle through different combinations for that one. Here we'll do one that's a little bit later. Go to this one. So here's our team in this build. Josh Allen. We've got 3 really good running backs. I wouldn't say stud running backs. You're talking about Miles Sanders here, but JT, Mixon, and Sanders. We've got Kupp, Hopkins, and Kadarius Toney. So no stack yet, and no tight end yet. Okay. Pick 93. I don't really want to go with Sutton or Jameson Williams. They kind of show up as the top players a lot in this range, but it doesn't feel amazing taking them. I don't think I have a huge need at wide receiver. It's there, but I prefer not to take them. But I definitely don't want to take a running back. I already have 3. There's no real need to take that 4th running back. So basically, it's do I take Evan Ingram? Or I guess, yeah, this is not a good range to be in. Yeah, I would have definitely preferred to get Bateman there. I guess what we can do is if I take Sutton, maybe we can end up getting Russell Wilson closer to pick like 132. Like, let's see. I have a pick 141. So maybe we can take Sutton here. Hope that Wilson falls to 141. And then maybe we can get Mims after that. Maybe that'll be a good combination. One more here. Any questions popped up yet? What are the odds of you doing an auction Superflex mock draft? That would be something, if you have like specific drafts for me that are like weird like that, that'd be something I could prepare before mock draft Monday, basically. So like throughout the week at some point, I can do a draft like that, have the team available. I'm definitely not live drafting and any auction league, because they take forever to do the auction mock drafts for. But I can do one of those throughout the week, and then we can go over the results of the team. So maybe I'll make a note of that to show you on an upcoming mock draft Monday. This one, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do another Ekler Olave start. How do we still have 5 more? I joined so many of these drafts. How did I take Ekler in every single one of these drafts? We have to do something different. We'll take Ekler and Barkley in this one. Gosh, did I just have like a mid pick in every single one? All right, no Ekler on this team. My goodness. Diggs, that's a pretty easy call at the 8th pick there. All right, 3 more, and then we will do the weekly winners draft, and I'll go over kind of some thoughts on that one. Happy 4th to all of you as well. We're definitely not going to get a massive turnout in this live stream, but I figured also people would want to watch it after the fact as well. Are you doing live draft on Underdog or just a slow draft you're currently in? Well, I'm going to zip through all of these ones, and then we're obviously going to do that. You just did a weekly winners draft. Herbert, Ekler, Williams, Everett stack. Do you believe in that? Absolutely. I think the Chargers are going off this season. I think you should be getting as much Justin Herbert as you can. Obviously, if you're doing those weekly winner ones, like you're going to want to have just like overloaded stacks. And also, I'm going to try and do this live. You want to be having, honestly, what would be smart to do if you have a Charger stack, like, different games throughout the year that you could be stacking for. But again, I'll get to the strategy behind that contest in a minute here once we join into it. So only one more draft. We can't take Austin Eckler. We'll take Travis Kelce. We have to do something different in that one. Okay. I don't know how fast it's going to load up a team, but just in case it's not quick, I wanted to get into one. But yeah, I definitely believe in that stack, and you want to be different in these ones. So this is the first one I've done. We're going to do this one live. I have not done any of these before. The idea though is to be unique, be different, and you have to create stacks. So I feel like I need to like pull up on the left like a schedule. But honestly, we basically need to start off. I didn't even really need to bring that up, to be honest. We need to start off getting our stack. We'd like to get it early, but we'd at least like to have a good indication by like round 6 or 7 maybe of what stack we're going for. And once we get that, we're going to pull up that team's schedule, and we're going to try and find players at value who are going to stack in different weeks. For this tournament, it only matters week to week. So it literally does not matter if you end up scoring 16, 17, 1,800 points across the whole season. You win the league, you're the highest scoring team. That's irrelevant. Your goal in this draft is to be the highest, or basically be in the top 2.8% of teams in any given week, whether that's week 1, 3, 7, 12. It does not matter which one. If you're in the top 2.8%, you will cash. Now it'll be a min cash, and I think it's not even going to cover the entry fee. I think it's like a $15 entry for this one. There'll be lower dollar ones of this for sure. But if it's a $15 entry, I think the min cash is 10. So you still won't like cover everything, but it goes up from there. So if you're in the top 1%, you're in the top 0.5% of like all teams, that's when you get the big payout. So every single week, you have an opportunity for $20,000 at the top. What that means is you have to be stacking, right? You can't just go out there and think that you're going to be the number 1 scoring team just randomly picking different players. You have to correlate. You have to be like, okay, I took Justin Jefferson. Okay, we're at pick 3. Basically, pick 3. Oh, I might actually want to lean with Kelce too, honestly, over Cooper Kupp. And I don't think I actually even have like the most up-to-date rankings. The rankings are pretty up-to-date, but I don't think I pasted in the most up-to-date rankings for this one. But like, yeah, let's say this first person goes with Justin Jefferson. You're going to want to get Kirk Cousins. You're going to want to get Addison. You're going to want to get Hawkinson. You're also going to want to have a bunch of matchups where, in week 7, they face this team. Well, maybe you should go for it in week 7 and be like, okay, let's stack up 2 players in that game, because when week 7 comes along, if that game goes off, you have a ton of things correlated into 1 week, and maybe that's your spike. That's what pays for your entry fee. So you don't care that like, maybe in like 10 weeks the team doesn't do anything, which is why you can be unique. You can draft one quarterback. You can draft one tight end. You could draft the top 4 tight ends. You could literally draft Kelsey, Hawkinson, Andrews, Pitts, whatever how your ranking is. You could do whatever you want and just be different because you don't care about the overall scoring of the team. You're just trying to isolate a few weeks that your team does really, really well. So it's definitely an interesting like game theory one. Oh, but I would go with Chase here. Okay. I'm interested to see also what Kelsey's like final ADP is, because like Kelsey's definitely more valuable in a format like this. You're just very easily able to be like, okay, if he has a bunch of really high end weeks, well, isn't that like pretty easy? Like, what if Kelsey scores like 25 points in a week and the next best tight end scores 15? The teams that have Kelsey, I mean, you probably have to have Kelsey, right, to take down the whole thing. I just really think a Bengals stack is going to be like what we should go for in this one. So let's pull up the Bengals schedule. I will have it here for us. I don't like this one as much, actually. I like the ESPN schedule. And again, what I think we should do is when I have time, I'll go through each team and be like, okay, here are the players you can stack on the team. And then just basically list off, I don't know how exactly I want to visualize it, but list off who are the top matchups they have. So like, okay, let's just look at the Bengals for right now. Like, obviously, okay, that's a great matchup. Cleveland, Baltimore, Los Angeles, like, for example, that one would be tough because you're probably not able to stack, Kupp and Chase. So you can maybe do like Higgins and Burrow and Cooper Kupp. That could be a combination that you could go for. But like, we probably don't really care about stacking the Tennessee game, the Arizona game. Seattle could be a good one. San Fran, Buffalo. So it's like you have a bunch of options. Baltimore, you've got 2. So if you stack Baltimore, there's 2 games we can go through there. But I think it would be very good to just have something on the site where you can just click, okay, I went for Bengals, and it just immediately shows you the list of players you could go with. And that would just be like an easy thing to do there. Stack the Chiefs game. So another thing, like obviously, yeah, at Kansas City, that game's going to be incredible, right? But you also kind of want to think about it from a standpoint of like, well, okay, everyone knows that. Like maybe everyone looks at the schedule and they do pick Baltimore. They pick Minnesota. They pick Jacksonville. They pick Cleveland. Or I don't know if this contest goes to week 18. It probably does. It's probably a good thing to know that. But I don't think it does. I think it's 1 through 17, actually. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it goes through 17. Maybe we can pull that up to confirm it. 1 through 17, yeah. So the second stack here with Cleveland, even though it's in division, you only get that one game. That's gonna throw some people for a loop on that one. But yeah, we're open to a bunch of things, and honestly, we don't even need to go with Bengals in this one. Like, there could still be something else in this stack that comes up. It's going to be interesting too. Like, no one's going to be able to do the math on it for, honestly, probably for years. But it'll be interesting what people's take is on, like, how much do you need? You need the stack, right? But how much do you reach? Like, when I get to Joe Burrow, ADP, what? ADPs are way different. Wow. Because Burrow does not go ahead of Fields in regular. Also, these ADPs are just like earlier. Like, these are earlier ADPs than usual. That's very interesting because of stacking. So that's the thing. It's like you want to have, well, obviously I'm going to go with T. Higgins. I'm going to try and do the stack. All right. And like that. Okay. So that's the thing. We get to pick 27, right? I can't wait to pick 46. In a normal draft, I would absolutely, at pick 27, take something else. You're not taking Joe Burrow there. And at pick 46, I would take him. But if his ADP is 33, I mean, I guess the odds are someone is going to have him for the next time. And then I'm like kind of cooked at that point, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the correct answer is for what you're supposed to do in this situation. Gosh, my gut says people are going to have a better stack than you. Oh my God. Ugh. I don't know what this. I don't know what the correct move was there. I want to take Hurts because it's like insane value. Do they play them at all? That would be a great thing to know. They don't. That would have been nice. It's like I don't know what the right move is there because when you think about all the other teams I'm going up against, right? Every single person who is doing one of these drafts, there's what 260,000 teams. Divide that by 12 is something I don't know what it is. There's a bunch of leagues, right? And so there's a bunch of people who are going to be in my exact situation. I was at the number 3 pick. This is a very natural stack. Chase, Higgins, okay? But there's going to be plenty of teams that end up getting Joe Burrow at 46. Like there just will be teams that are able to do that. And so do you have to chance it and just say, hopefully I'm one of those teams. If I end up not being one of those teams, it's fine. Like I could end up just doing a hurt stack. Like if it ends up that Burrow's gone, that's fine. I just hope that Chase and Higgins alternate having really good weeks. I can still use those performances. I can still do stacks with their opponents, just saying that Jalen Hurts scores similar points to Joe Burrow. But I open up, so Burrow does go at 33, but I open up the possibility that I get him at 46. I'm going up against a bunch of teams that drafted him at 27, and I just have like an extra really good player. Game theory wise, I don't know if taking the quarterback there is the right move. But I just think he was like 10 spots of value. He doesn't even like need to be stacked totally. I mean, he can just do it from like the rushing volume alone. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing because basically what I was talking about before is how much do you reach? Do I reach 6 spots to get Joe Burrow at an absolutely absurd ADP? Even 33 is like way earlier than he normally goes. And this person doesn't even have Chase and Higgins, right? So their best stack is going to be Mixon. That'll be their best option. If they don't get Mixon, Boyd's a terrible stacking partner, so you probably have to go with Irv Smith. And like that can work, but I guess how much is like Burrow to Irv Smith going to take down, first place in a 260,000 team contest, right? So interested to see what this team does. I'm really just interested to see like how this draft goes. So like obviously Kelsey, like you take Mahomes there, right? Because Mahomes goes there in a normal draft, but Burrow doesn't go here in a normal draft, and you didn't even have the stacking partner. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens though. I'm curious what you guys think though. Like who should I have taken at that pick? I was gonna do Chris Olave, but then part of me was like, well, I don't know. Chris Olave is a good value, but not an insane value, and I don't know. I just felt like I could just alternate, and now I can just do maybe Jalen Hurts my only quarterback in this one. Like there are other stacking partners with Hurts I can get. I could get Dallas Goedert. I could get Quez Watkins later, but I could get the running backs as well. So there's just other things that I could do. You got sniped from you in the 3rd round. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right move is at that spot. So you got a Chase, Higgins, Henry, Burrow. So that's the thing. It's like, well, my team's worse than you. If I take Burrow in round 3, I'm guaranteeing that I'm worse than other teams. And like maybe you could just say Henry has a bad game in that week and I can still beat you. But the point is you have a worse team. I would have a worse team had I taken. Okay, so we're going to be on the clock here. I don't think, honestly, I think we probably should just go with Mixon if he's available. Because I don't want to give Mixon to the other team. But also, like, running back would be a decent pick here. Let's see if Mixon got taken. Do they play Atlanta? Do they play Washington? Doesn't look like it. The Commanders there. Okay. Yeah, I feel like Mixon is just take Mixon. They have talked about basically everything that we figured with like the Mixon situation. It's like, yeah, he's owed too much money. He needs to take less money. If you're Joe Mixon, you're probably going to do that. I mean, you're in such a good situation right there. You know that the running back market isn't amazing. So if you were going to get cut, I mean, where do you think you're going that you're going to make bank? Probably nowhere. So I think that's the best move for them. They do have the Minnesota game, right? Okay. So we have the Minnesota game at home, week 15. Probably going to be a sweet game. And so if we grab Hawkinson, we have Hawkinson going up with, okay, nice. I do think that Cincy should be our stack here. Like, I know we didn't get Burrow. Maybe we should have. Honestly, I looking back, like maybe we should have taken him there. But it doesn't matter because we could still have Mixon run for 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase catches 2 touchdowns with 150 yards. They're both maybe necessary for that roster. Maybe Jalen Hurts still just drops 30 without bringing anyone with him. And so maybe he still outscores Joe Burrow in that game because maybe Joe Burrow only has 2 passing touchdowns because Mixon ran into. So it can still happen. But yeah, grabbing those 3. We don't honestly need to take any more Cincy players. We can just start cycling through. But again, this is why it would be great if on the website, I just created a tool where I could click Cincy and I could easily go to that page and be like, oh, here's the list of players at all the positions that you can stack him with. But again, we're keeping in mind Minnesota. I guess we're like 17 picks away, so it's not even worth like looking at the draft board and kind of seeing what players are going to be there at the next pick. But yeah, we'll keep going back to that. But obviously the Chiefs, yeah. So the Chiefs are going to have multiple wide receivers later on. Like we should definitely take a Kansas City wide receiver. Yeah, so you pick Mixon as well. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a very common stack. Does Chase Brown pick by the Bengals concerning about Mixon's workload? No. I think he was picked in the 5th round. It wasn't like an early pick by any means. So, and he's not a player. I know he had a decent amount of college touches, but like he's not a player that we're expecting to just like command a ton of touches. He feels much more like a change of pace back, like a very explosive player. Basically, if they just put him into the P. Ryan role, I don't know if he's going to excel as much in the receiving game as P. Ryan was actually pretty good in the receiving game. But no, it doesn't concern me. It was a pretty weak draft class, honestly. There were only a handful that were like really, really good. I wouldn't say like Chase Brown's super athletic. I think that's why people like him a lot as well. But no, I don't think so. They had to get someone, right? I mean, like who else do they have? It's like they still have Travion Williams, I believe. They still have like Chris Evans, but that's not going to work out. They just, when they lost P. Ryan, they had to bring someone else in. Any other questions? Fire them away. See if I missed anything at the top. Just handcuff him later. He goes like 190. Yeah, I mean, I could handcuff Mixon. I don't think you like need to do that. I would argue that like I would prefer if they restructure Mixon's contract and he has a dominant season. He, does it fantastic from this 4th pick. If I'm handcuffing him, it means like my 4th pick kind of got bad at some points. And then like, I don't think Chase Brown is going to be like amazing. And if he was amazing, I don't know. It just kind of invalidates my 4th pick. And I think a lot of people would have not taken Mixon with the 4th pick, had a better 4th pick and taken Chase Brown late. Like Chase Brown's still getting drafted in every league, and it's not always with Mixon. And so those teams are all, doing better than you. Oh, you're picking at 4? Nice. All right. Yeah. So I like this. Nice. I mean, yeah, Christian Watson, obviously a very explosive player. There's probably going to be 2 games this year where you need Christian Watson. Like there probably is going to be that. Kenneth Walker, also explosive player. Yeah, just literally pull up ESPN and start going off on KC stacks. Just start firing them away. You probably want to lean towards towards a KC wide receiver, so we're definitely going to keep that in mind at the 4 pick here that might be happening. But we're also going after those, so so we're probably going to end up sniping you on one if you allow that to happen. Okay, let's start to look. We don't care about position here. It can be anything. I'm not saying quarterback, but we don't care about position. So let's try and find something. Addison would probably be our primary focus. Although JSN, we've got that Seattle game right here. JSN could definitely do good in that game. They play the Colts. Love it. Okay, 3 options. I mean, I don't think all 3 of those guys are coming off the board, so that's pretty sweet for us. They do have that Tennessee game, so we can put that one there. Do they play Dallas? No. Okay, so those would be our options. There's only 4 picks that go by. I doubt all of them are going to be taken, although 2 of these teams only have 1 wide receiver, so they probably should. But I would imagine Godwin goes off the board, before like Addison, Pittman, and Treylon Burks. So we'll just take one of them. Thoughts on Kamara and Zeke for best ball? I end up with so much Alvin Kamara. He's not like my highest owned running back. Hold on, let's make this pick first. And hold on. ADP game. Yeah, I was gonna say ADP game. We should take JSN because ADP wise he's there, but no. Let's just go in. All right. Hey, we're looking at this stack here. Minnesota and Cincinnati. We're stacking up that game, and then yeah, one of Pittman or Burks would be really good here. That's another game you can stack. The Arizona game actually wouldn't even be bad. Would I prefer that over? Because Marquise Brown obviously has much higher weekly upside, and if Marquise Brown hits in a week, it's like, he hit from potentially an 80-yard touchdown. Well, that's very good news for the other players there. Of course, Marquise Brown gets taken the second I start talking about that. Pittman or Burks? I don't even know why I'm looking for when the games are, but I am. Week 14. I don't know. Let's just say Pittman. I don't know. I mean, I had him ranked higher. I don't think there was a correct move with that pick. So we've got a few stacks going. Bengals are our top stack. We've got the Minnesota and we've got Indy. We still have this like naked Jalen Hurts up here that we probably should be doing something with. But we'll see. Like, we already missed out on tight end. I don't even think we should stack him with anyone. I think what we should do is have a second one open here and pull up Eagles. And let's just try and get players on the Eagles schedule. And like, there's going to be a game where Jalen Hurts has like 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns. So he's not going to bring anyone with them. Minnesota. Okay. So we already have that handled. Tampa Bay. Okay. Okay. This is good. This is like a good, so KC shows up again. Basically, we're looking for duplicates, right? Between these first two. So duplicated is Minnesota, KC, Buffalo. And then, of course, we have like 2 Dallas games, but that's not on Cincy here. Any other duplicates? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Miami? Is Miami on here? Okay. So those are the big ones. But yeah, we want to basically be taking teams. Arizona. Okay, Arizona, week 17 for Eagles. Yeah, week 5. So that would have been a very good pick if we got Marquise Brown there, but we'll keep that in the back of our minds. That means we'd want like Rondale, maybe even like what's his name? Trey, what's his last name? McBride. Trey McBride. Also, I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do at quarterback and tight end here. Because we have these 2 stacks, I almost want to just have Hurts as my only quarterback. Part of me wants to have Hawkins as my only tight end, but I'll do it for a stack. So if there's someone going against Cincinnati, someone going against the Eagles in these games, I'll do that. Part of me wants to just create basically an octopus and just go through like the 8 running back, 8 wide receiver. Because again, we don't care about the season long points. I was going with Kamara. Sorry. Yeah, one of my highest owned. I'm going to go to running back here. One of my highest owned running backs because of the range that he goes in. He goes around this pick 100 range, right? So you've got White, you've got Dalvin. Pacheco usually goes on the board. Not someone, as you can see by the rankings, not really someone I end up with a lot. But you basically get to this range of like Javonte Williams. I'll put the wide receivers too, actually. You get to this range. Flowers is usually gone. You're basically choosing between Sutton, Michael Thomas at times, Javonte Williams, James Cook's usually gone, Kamara and P. Ryan. It's like that's usually on the board. And so I get to that spot, and I'm always just like, well, I hate most of these players, But at least Kamara, I know for a fact, is very, very good. I know that even if he like gets suspended, even if they use Kendra Miller more, they use Jamal Williams more, like they're going to use plenty of Alvin Kamara, and he's got plenty of weekly upside. Like, he's still a very good player, and at pick 100, I'm just like, you know what? If he gives me a few weeks, I'm just so confident in the talent, at least, that when he's out there, I know he's going to be really good. And I look at all these other players, and I'm like, it's fine, but like Kamara is just so easily the best player that I just end up going with him a lot. I never want to do it if I have like heavy running back, but like on this team, like if I only have Joe Mixon, like why not add in Alvin Kamara? Because like I'm just hoping that like if that hits, I've got like just these sick wide receivers with Mixon and Kamara, and it's like you just have a lot more upside there. Okay, so obviously the Cleveland game would be nice. This would be a phenomenal player to get. We do have the Tampa one too. We need running back. The Tampa game is not for the Bengals, but it is for the Eagles. Just verifying that it exists. There it is, week 3. So we can definitely go with Rachaad White. Kind of bring back there. Maybe Tampa Bay finds a way to get up in that game. Honestly, it could actually even work the other way. It probably is better the other way for game script wise. That Jalen Hurts scores 4 touchdowns. Tampa Bay's down quickly. Rachaad White racks up 10 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown through the air. Like he's just overloaded in that way, and that ends up working out. It's pick 0. You deserve the auto pick here. Can we make this next one, please? Kamara higher than Dalvin? No, I don't think so. No, Kamara's down here. Dalvin was higher in the rankings. We already got picked. Did this glitch on us? What happened here? Let's go to drafts. Yeah, it did. What the heck? All right, so Sky Moore got taken. Rachaad White got taken. Yeah, let's take Elijah Moore. Wide receiver we love. It goes with the stack. It's not your turn. It certainly is my turn, sir. All right, well, hopefully he's actually on the board. What is happening to Underdog? Oh, God. All right, we're 2 picks away now. All right, we got Elijah Moore. I don't know what happened there, guys. Bear with me. We've got the Buffalo game, right? Buffalo game right here. Beautiful. Do the Eagles play Buffalo? They should, right? Yeah, the Eagles play Buffalo as well in week 12 because, yeah, they play the East. Oh, I went through and did is it going to happen again here? This is weird. Like, did it... Why is it doing that? I don't know, guys. This is strange. Has this happened to anyone before? That it's just like not allowing you to actually go during your time? I guess we're going to have to be very proactive in this one and queue people up way ahead of time. But that's going to be really annoying if it does that. Yeah, I'm going to have to queue like everyone I want. I'm going to have to like guess where we are in the draft. If it's not going to show up, maybe I should just exit. Let's exit Underdog. Let's do that. Put it back over here. Active. I'm in way too many drafts right now. I mean, we'll see what happens. At least we got this far, right? All right. Hopefully it fixed itself. Anyways. All right. We've been thinking about Kamara as a possible bounce back with Derek Carr. Last year, the Saints quarterbacks just didn't throw. Yeah, they didn't throw at running backs. A little worried about Dennis Allen as head coach, though. Yeah, I think they want to play slow. And this is like the unfortunate part about Dennis Allen. I think they want to play slow and run a ton, which is like terrible news for Alvin Kamara because, I mean, obviously when you have those like pace up Saints teams, like Drew Brees dropping it down to Kamara a bunch, can rack up like 100 receptions. That's what we want, right? Like that's what we want to happen. Seems like it's not going to happen this season. But, Derek Carr's thrown to running backs in the past, so we'll see. But yeah, it's a concern. But to go to the original point here, Dalvin's still over Kamara because like Dalvin lands on Miami. You definitely prefer that. What's the floor and ceiling of Olave? I mean, ceiling, I'll say like 90th percentile ceiling, not like 100th. Like 100th percentile ceiling is there's multiple injuries. He ends up, being the wide receiver one because 5 dudes got hurt, right? A reasonable outcome for him is like a top like 5 to 7 wide receiver that he can finish as. Maybe he gets to like 1,300 yards and like 8 or 9 touchdowns, something like that. Floor, I guess the floor case is that Michael Thomas comes in, really starts commanding that target share he used to have, can rack up like 90 receptions, makes Olave still very, very good, but the target share goes down. He's used more deep downfield, which then maybe they don't connect very well. It lowers his yards per reception. It lowers his like catch rate, stuff like that. And maybe he ends up as a low-end wide receiver 2. So I would say that's his range. Like low-end wide receiver 2 feels like worst case scenario. Best case scenario being 5 to 7, like top 5 to 7 wide receiver. It seems like it's working right now, by the way. Okay. I'm looking at wide receiver here, and I'm not loving it. And we have a decent amount, so I don't think I like need to love it. Tight end. I think there's a Pitt game, right? Okay, so there's 2 Pitt games for Cincy, and Pat is a decent value. So that's probably where we should be looking there. I don't think we should reach, but Dalton Kincaid kind of matches in with the Bengals stack there, or for the Bengals Buffalo stack. And so if we had Kincaid and James Cook, that might not be a bad combination. So we'll keep that in the back of our mind. I don't really like where we're at with wide receiver. I feel like we can wait. We have enough. Yeah, let's wait there. Running back. Packers? Oh, well, he just went. I was going to look for a Packers stack. Yeah, no, I think Pat makes sense. We get the 2 games there. I wouldn't be against. So here's one thing I've been wondering. So I talked about in the video on Sunday, tight ends heavily correlated with quarterbacks. So if I had like Cousins, I was planning on getting Pickett, which maybe I could do. Pickett, if I had Josh Allen, I'm smashing the button for these tight ends. I might still do it, but it's like they're so heavily correlated that I want it with the quarterback, and my quarterback right now is Jalen Hurts. But I think for the stack, like if Kincaid and James Cook both have really good games in that Bengals game, like that game could just go nuclear. We do want to be stacking that one up. And I'm looking around, and it's like A-Chain, I guess. A-Chain's not a bad option here. We have the Miami game there. Oh, that probably is a good pick. Wait, hold on. All right. I wanted to make that one real fast. That actually probably is a very good one. I thought, all right, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Maybe we should have gone with the other one. I thought that Miami also played Cincy for a second. They don't, but my guess Miami is in part of the stack there. And it's like, if A-Chain busts off, some really long runs, forces these other teams to be a little bit more aggressive. That's very heavily correlated. We needed running back a little bit more than we needed tight end. Because again, we already have 2 of them. We probably don't need that one. But for the stack, you could have 50-50 that. I don't think it makes it. Conklin could be sneaky with Rodgers this year. Yeah, definitely. But I would definitely use the word sneaky. He goes pretty late. I think he goes pretty much at the end, 189. They've been hyping up, is it like Rukert or something? Let's pull up the Jets here. Yeah, they've been hyping up Jeremy Rukert a little bit. No one drafts him, so it doesn't matter. Azoma had that little injury. I think he's going to be fine, so that's not going to matter. Honestly, there's just been no reports about Conklin, so we don't know. So I'll reserve a Conklin take for like late July into August. But that's why he'd be sneaky right now, because if it came out that Conklin was being used a ton, yeah, of course his ADP is going to go up. But if Rukert performs better this season than he was last season, he was drafted to be a decent tight end in the receiving game, but we'll see. All right. I don't hate how the team's turning out. I feel like we've done pretty well with wide receiver. I do believe the A-Chain pick was still good. It just only helps us in 1 week, which we'd prefer. Who else can we get? I'm not pulling that up anymore. Okay. Let's cue some people up. I want Rondell Moore. We've got that correlation there. Carolina? Is Carolina a matchup? Looks like no. Looks like no. Okay. New England is one. We know that. It's with both, right? So New England first week. Oh. Why do I keep thinking that they play? Oh, because of the Buffalo game. That's why I think they play the East. Okay. Raiders? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I don't think there's no Raiders there. No Raiders there. Rams showed up, so we could go with Higbee. It's not a bad one. I would probably rather go with Van though than Higbee, because again, the correlation, Higbee's gonna get there through touchdowns most likely. Van could get there through like hitting like a very, very long play. We would prefer that Van gets there with like 5 for like 150 and 1 versus Higbee getting there catching like 3 touchdowns, because now it's like, well, Stafford's probably having a really good game. We don't have Stafford. Warren, right? Pitt's going to play them twice. Nice. Okay, so Warren would be good on this team. Obviously, Irv Smith is someone that we'd want on this team. Okay. That's a decent amount of players. If they all get drafted, that would be kind of dumb. Oh, okay, just back-to-back. Irv Smith, Rondell Moore, sick. First time you get to watch me live. Wow, on 4th of July. 2 people in here. The first time watching on a company holiday, non-FFA holiday. We were working all day. Any more questions? I'll answer anything you guys put up here. 4 players left. Who wants to bet that 3 of them will be off the board? We'd like to get all 4 in our next 2 picks. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. Mims will be available, but it'll be kind of early. Jacksonville, right? We have at least one Jacksonville. Yeah, it's only one. That'd still be fine though. Let's pull up there. I just feel like 161's a reach. Or 142, 147. Like I want to get Mims at 166. What would be my favorite stack besides the obvious ones? I'm assuming that means favorite team. Oh, hold on. Who do we think is more likely to get taken? 24, 140. Warren or Van? I think Warren, because this team only has 2 running backs. You'd think they'd go running back with one of these picks, and I feel like Warren was clearly the best running back on the board. They take Van. That stinks. I'll answer that question in a second. We go with Pierce. We already have Pittman, so we go with Pierce here. I think that's better. Would have been nice if they played the Colts. Yeah, I think Pierce is our best option. I like Meyers, though. Do we just take an uncorrelated Meyers? No one wants him. Yeah. I mean, that's a good ADP value. 147. Like, we should just take him, right? I don't think Pierce is any. I mean, I really don't think Pierce is that good. All right. Favorite stacks besides those teams? I mean, the Chargers, I would throw in with that. Like KC, Cincy, Buffalo, and Chargers. Chargers have just so many explosive players. I think their offense is going to be really good this season. Detroit would be a team I'd really like to stack up, especially if you could get like their running backs. Honestly, you just pair both their running backs. Excuse me. And then just get a bunch of like pass catchers on the other side. Jacksonville, definitely. I love the Jacksonville offense this season. Minnesota, because they play in so many of those games where like either they get down huge or they get up big, and it's like they always either blow a lead or come back in every single one of their games. So if you're just stacking up Minnesota, there's probably going to be plenty of games this year where they get down by 20 points and you're like, let's go. The other team's going to put their foot on the gas, or they're going to have to keep their foot on the gas, because Minnesota can score very, very, very quickly. They'll be explosive. We'll have like Addison and Hawkinson and Jefferson all just going off, plus with everyone they had on the other side. So I'd like them. Baltimore, love stacking Baltimore this year. I would say Atlanta is sneaky. It's expensive though. Like Bijon's expensive, London expensive. Pitts is like kind of expensive. Pull this book down here. But if they really hit and that team starts to get going, they have like the easiest schedule in the NFL. So there's gonna be plenty of games where even if you don't think they're that good, they're gonna have some upside there. Does Madison get close to Cook numbers? I have a video coming out on Thursday that I recorded today that breaks down Dameon Pierce, Madison, and Dobbins. So I'll have a bigger take on Madison there. My current guess is no, because I think Dalvin Cook is better. And there's also the risk that either Dalvin's back, which I don't think that's going to happen, or they bring someone else in. I don't think he's going to get Cook numbers, though. There was something else. Will you do a video about the best values for each home league app? I think I did that last year. I'll definitely at least have a page on the site that pulls that. What I'd like to do is to create another one of those apps. You guys know I have like the ADP app. I want to create an app once I have time, which I don't know will ever be the case. But if I ever get time, I could create an app that basically you press it and it scrapes the ADPs for like ESPN, Yahoo, NFL Sleeper. It puts them all together. And then it would like compare and it would like show you some sort of visual. If you're just like, I want to see like the best running back values on ESPN or something like that. And it would just like visualize who you should be taking solely based on where they go on the other apps, basically. So if they're like 20 picks further on ESPN than anything else, it should like very easily show you like the players that that's the case for. I don't know, maybe there could be like a slider for like value. I don't know, something. It takes time to do those things. Vikings want to pass more than run. Yeah. I think the Vikings, are the Vikings just telling us by not getting any other running back that they're just going to throw the ball every play? Like, is that what they're telling us by like getting rid of Dalvin Cook? Madison, they're probably not going to ground and pound with him. Who are they grounding pounding with? Like, they're probably just going to throw the ball a ton. I think Cousins is my highest owned. We might get Alec Pierce. We're going to take Alec Pierce on our last pick. My goodness. Oh, but at this point, I should just take Marvin Mims, though, right? We got to have... Did they not play Denver, either one of them? Oh, that's so sad. Oh, I just love Marvin Mims so much. But yeah, I should take Pierce. That's unfortunate. Pierce is a, explosive player. He will be used deep downfield. We know that Richardson has a cannon. So even though the catch rate's going to be awful, there will probably be some weeks where Alec Pierce hits for some big plays. Hopefully, it is in our matchup here. DPJ is also probably a better option than Mims. And I have them projected very, very similarly. But yeah, let's take DPJ here. Should I have maybe taken Dawson Knox? I see Dawson Knox fall a ton in drafts. We probably won't get him, but it is what it is. Yeah, there Mims goes. Mims is such a good pick there. Who'd they have? Oh, that was a good pick for them. Oh, this is our guy. Yeah, Mims is a good pick there because you get the 2 games. I don't want to pull up their schedule. I'm just assuming it's not a week 18 one. Did you stack up any other? Okay, so a solo Mims on Denver. That's still fine. Mims a very, very explosive player. If those Denver games have Mims hitting deep, that's what's going to push your Kelsey and Mahomes stack. Okay, I think this is working out really nicely for our team. I want to pull up we're at a 1-4-8-2 right now. We're just going to stick with Jalen Hurts. There's no reason for us to draft one of these later quarterbacks. You want Hurts going off. I feel like we should probably try and get Dallas. We can get a 2-player one on. I just don't know of anyone. We could go way off the wall and get what's his name? The second-year wide receiver for Dallas. I can literally see his name. Starts with a T. Last name starts with a T. Um, it's not Tolbert. Someone tell me what it is. The second-year wide receiver. He was having a great camp. They were talking really great about him. He was learning a lot from Brandon Cooks. I think Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert. His name is Tolbert. He's got upside, and he can be like a deep threat. And he's someone no one is drafting. So if Jalen Tolbert in one of these two games against them, happens to hit for duty touchdowns, and maybe it's a low-scoring week for wide receiver, I mean, that's how you win 20 grand, right? And so maybe we take him at pick 214, but I don't know. There's probably still going to be someone else that we want. Turpin? No, it was not Turpin. Yeah, Mingo is very athletic. He has a 99th percentile athleticism score. Is that true? I don't know. I know he's athletic. I didn't think he was that athletic. Yeah, I mean, my model comps him almost perfectly to Debo. And what's funny is it comped him almost perfectly to Debo without factoring in draft capital. But if you add in the draft capital, it's just like insane. Like the model looks, it's like, oh, here's 10 most similar players athletically. And it was like Debo Samuel, easy, with Jonathan Mingo. And then I was like, oh, and also they were taking it virtually the exact same pick. And it's just like Debo Samuel, massive gap, next receiver. Like he's Debo Samuel. Like that Jonathan Mingo is Debo Samuel. Will he break out in year one? Maybe not. I mean, didn't it take Debo like a few years to like truly break out? Plus, you don't have the 49ers offense. Like the 49ers are dream pairing for Debo Samuel. Such a creative offensive mind. I don't know that the Panthers really get the same out of Mingo. But yeah, very, very good player there. We do need running back though. Like this still at the end of the day, I love our running backs though. Mixon, James Cook, A-Chain, and Jalen Warren. But like at the end of the day, we still need running back production, right? We could honestly take Zeke or pick 7 away. We could take Zeke and just be like, hey, that hurts the team that took Pollard. What if Zeke just returns to Dallas and now at pick 181, we've got potentially a goal line back. What if he just runs 2 touchdowns in one of those 2 games? So I would probably make that pick first. Gus, I would take. We've got the Baltimore happening twice. We've got week 2 and we've got week 11. So we've got those weeks covered for a little bit of a stack. What if he happens to run a few touchdowns in those games? Clyde would be a good pick for us. We've got that KC game. Does the Eagles play KC? I don't think they do, right? No. Oh, they do. Week 11. Beautiful. Okay. Week 11 and week 17 is going to help us for that KC one. So that's a good one. So yeah, I would probably order it like this. Ideally, we get both of these players. That'll be one more round after that. And we could just take whatever, whether we want a running back or a wide receiver, just something that gets that. Oh, you're taking Clyde? All right. Well, that makes sense for you to take. You've got the KC stack. But we'll hope we get Zeke and Gus. I do definitely want Zeke with this pick because that's the double one there. And there goes Ezekiel Elliott. Awesome. We'll take Gus. If this person doesn't take Gus, we'll at least take him. Who do we want at the other one, though? Like, do we take Ty Chandler and hope that, because we've got this Minnesota stack. That probably makes sense. So we'll do Gus and then maybe that does make sense. Because we'll get that game. Again, we're kind of all in on this. Like, we've got Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. If we can add in Ty Chandler, yeah, that makes sense. Steve only had 2 running backs. Derrick Henry. I hate any developers working for Underdog. I understand changing it to people's teams so they don't think they're drafting off of a different team. What I don't understand is doing that before it gets to your pick. If I want to be searching through people's team, be like, oh, what happened here? Every time it changes, it puts it back to my team, and that's infuriating. All right, let's take Ty Chandler. Only change it like, I don't know, whether you have to do every like 5 or just when it gets back to their team, just make sure you flip back to there. But if I want to look at these teams, I have to keep clicking it because after every few seconds, it goes to the other one, right? All right, so they're going with 1 billion wide receivers. It's not like 1 billion good wide receivers. Who did they spend their picks on? Okay, so it was like 2 early picks at running back. The one with Jefferson. So here's just my one thing on this. I mean, most of those receivers don't even have like that much weekly upside. And so it's like, I know you have a lot of them, but I don't know. And like Pierre Strong doesn't have a ton of weekly upside. So you're basically banking on these two. Well, what the heck is Stroud doing on your team? Like, Stroud's not going to score you any points. I don't know. I think there's an edge. This is all that I'm saying is I think that that there is an edge in these sorts of tournaments, because if you can think about these stacks, think about high weekly upside, like downfield threat. I only picked him because he was 2 rounds of value. Very explosive player. We got the stack there. Downfield threat. Like, we want people who have this explosiveness. We want to be telling a story with touchdowns, with stacking that game, with very high explosive player, part of our stack. Like, all the picks make sense at least. I don't know. In my mind, there's an edge here. And I think a lot of teams, especially these teams that take like, I don't know, like all these quarterbacks. Like if you want to take like Fields, Herbert, and Aaron Rodgers, sure. But why wouldn't you do one team with Fields and now stack up Chicago and get a bunch of run backs from there? Do another team that has Herbert. You don't need multiple of them every week, because if you just have 3 different teams, it's the same thing. You're like, oh, this hit this week, right? So on this build, this team's looking really good and this team's looking really good. It's like you got to treat them as like individual, like almost like lineups, I guess. This is not DFS. Don't come after me, regulators. But you treat it in your mind like that, because I'm just basically saying, okay, I have like an Eagles and a Bengals stack every week, and whenever those teams go off, I probably have bringbacks in a lot of those weeks. But if I'm stacking up like 3 quarterbacks, you're really like limiting what you can do to stack those teams and get bringbacks. You just don't have as many. So just do those in 3 different lineups. Don't do it with one. Like I think one quarterback is just the way to go. It's the way to go in this one. Anyways, Zamir, if Jacobs holds out, yeah, I just like, why would a running back hold out? You know, like it's never going to work. What Jacobs needs to do is the ball out this year and get a decent pick. And to be honest, the franchise tag is still a ton of money, like more than many running backs are even worth anyways. But it's like, play really well. You'll get a contract from somewhere. But if he holds out, you don't get that money, which was a lot of money from the franchise tag. Now your new contract that you get this next year has to not only be really good, but make up for the money you just lost out on. It's like, I understand you get hurt, but like now you basically need like double what you were going to get. And I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I understand why they're doing it, because they are mistreated. They are underpaid theoretically, but like, I don't know. I don't see why a running back would, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense from like any sort of standpoint from them. Yeah, that also is a thing. That's not even guaranteed. Like they've talked oh wait, hold on, I'm on the clock. Oh, Puka's our guy. Or should we take Downs? We're already stacking up. Gosh, my computer's glitching. We should take Downs because we've got that like Pierce, Pittman. Although maybe we have enough of that game already. Puka probably doesn't have that much weekly upside. Neither does Downs, really. Michael Wilson. You could argue a bunch of different ones there. That's also something I need to think about is, do you want to go all in on that full stack, or do you want to just say like, because if that game shoots out, right, if since he's putting up a ton of points, it is going to force the Colts to be aggressive. And if the Colts are aggressive, we've got whatever comes back, whether it's Pittman, Pierce, or Downs, we've got whatever the comeback is for that game. And if we're stacking that up, we're just hoping that we hit on one of those. Or do you take one of them away and do you grab like Michael Wilson? Do you grab Allen Robinson for some touchdowns? Do you grab Puka and just say, I don't need full stacks in like 4 games. I need mini stacks in 7 games. Like, which one's better? Something I have to think about. But going back to what I was saying before, we'll pull up the team here, by the way. They might just sign someone. Like there's no guarantee. They talked very poorly about Zamir White, basically saying like, I don't know. They're always rosy at this time, but like it doesn't seem like he got any better. There were not positive reports. I find it hard to believe that if Jacobs was holding out that they wouldn't sign Fournette, Hunt, Zeke, someone like that. Drafting a high-end quarterback and then drafting a late quarterback blows my mind. There's no scenario where you beat all the other teams if Hurts doesn't pop off that week. That's basically my thought process is like how many weeks is CJ Stroud, is Kenny Pickett and all them like winning you it because they literally will have to score 30. You will need a 30-point performance from your quarterback. So why make that pick? Like I totally get like Trevor Lawrence and Kirk Cousins. Great. You got Cousins with Jefferson in those week. You've got Trevor Lawrence with Christian Kirk. That makes 1,000% sense. Evan Ingram, Zay Jones. This makes complete sense. What is this? Now you think CJ Stroud with like John Mechie and like Nathaniel Dell, do that on its own. Do that on a team where you didn't take Trevor Lawrence or Kirk Cousins. Instead of this pick, take, take Dobbins or take Hawkinson or take Kenneth Walker. Instead of this pick, take, who could they have taken? Marquise Brown. I don't know. Quentin Johnston, something like that. And just load out everything else. And people are like, how do you have such good running backs and wide receivers? Then go in and do Stroud and be like, okay, well, maybe Stroud goes off twice, even if it's only 2 weeks. Maybe he has 2 30-point games. You'll have the stack with him, and you're loaded up everywhere else. So when those 2 weeks happen, you've got these bringbacks. You've got high-end production. You can capitalize if that happens. But what are the odds that now having also taken Cousins, also taking Trevor Lawrence, that he beats those players in those weeks, and now you use those early picks on other players, you probably don't have enough to overtake it even with those going off. So if you really want to get that stack with Stroud, I would go in knowing that only take CJ Stroud late and load it up with everything else. Again, I think there's an edge to be had in this sort of tournament. It is all draft strategy, and it's honestly fun to kind of look through these stacks and think about the different things that happen, and you're live the whole year, right? You can literally get into like week 13, 14, 15, and your team stinks, but if you've still got that CJ Stroud stack any given week, that could go off. I don't know. That's just like fun. Now you're like a Texans fan, right? And then you do another draft, and maybe you take a Daniel Jones stack. Now you're a Giants fan in some weeks. Like maybe you take a Brock Purdy stack, and you only do that. But I really just think one quarterback is the move in these drafts, and just like know that whenever a quarterback goes off, you're like, okay, Daniel Jones scored 40 this week. I know I have 3 teams where I stacked up Daniel Jones, and I have all these different bringbacks. I have a really good chance on that team to hit. Because we're also not trying to like min cash for the $10. We're trying to hit, to be like, I got first place, right? On this team, I got like the 20 grand. So I think there's an edge. Again, you guys can see on the screen, you've seen it the whole time. If you want to sign up and do these drafts, promo code FFA, you're going to get a bunch of stuff too. Like use anyone else's promo code. Your deposit will be doubled as well. Like everyone else has that exact same deal. You're getting my rankings. You're getting my articles. You're getting the draft strategy app, all free. Basically the morning after you sign up for that, I'll email you the login for all that information. All that's going to come free. So what's today? Tuesday? Tomorrow, we're going to be doing draft strategy from picks 5 through 8. Thursday is that player breakdown video. And then Friday is going to be what I think the biggest bust is in every round. 35 likes. We've had 518 unique people in here. Let's get that bumped up a little much. But until next week, good luck drafting. Use the promo code. I'll see you next week.